enabled. Tata Motors presents Trucking into the Future in partnership with News 18 Network.
Well, hello and welcome to the first edition of Tata Motors presents Trucking into the Future in partnership with the Network 18 Group. India is the second largest producer of cement in the world, with roughly around 7% of the global installed capacity. The Indian cement industry, well, it's expected to clock mid-single digits in terms of a CAGR on the growth aspect in the next 5 years or so. The current production, well, it's nearing close to around 300 million tons or thereabouts. And by 2025, the industry, well, is expected to hit close to around 500 to around 550 million tons. A major contributor of the overall cost of cement is logistics and supply chain component to transport it from the manufacturing plant to the consumer market. Well, without further ado, let's welcome our panelists who are joining me on the stage as well. Well, we have Ms. Madhumita Basu, the Chief Marketing, Innovation and Strategy Investment Relations Officer of Nuvoco Vistas. We have Dr. Arvind Bodhankar, the Executive Director, ESG and Chief Risk Officer at Dalmia Bharat Group. And we have Pradeep Purohit, the President and Chief Strategy Officer at Star Cement as well. Also joining in is Mr. Yogesh Mehta. He's got plenty to tell us. VP Commercial, Shree Cement, and our very own Rajesh Kaul, Vice President and Head Sales and Marketing, Domestic Commercial Vehicles Business, Tata Motors. So let's get cracking. And ma'am, let's start off with you, Ms. Basu. Well, there are various challenges that are faced by the cement space, both in terms of logistics, that's material, as well as last mile connectivity. I wanted to understand your take on it. How can things be improved as well from here on?
The cement industry straddles the very difficult balance between bulk movement at the cheapest cost. Given a choice, we would all like to do it by rail. But the end consumer wants bulk breaking and an expectation that the product that's going to reach him is going to be very delicately handled. So you've got to minimize the number of interim handling that happens. The problem at that end is what is going to leave, if we really talk about trucking into the future, I believe that that's going to be one of our biggest areas of improvement, change and dynamics that the industry will need. Even if you look at a country like Philippines or Indonesia, all movement is palletized. We are a long way from there. And when I sit back wearing my strategy hat, because all the pain point I feel wearing my marketing hat, how does the consumer want the product? But when I sit back and wear my strategy hat, what challenges me, Rajesh, with due respect, somebody is manufacturing the chassis, somebody else is building the body, somebody else, and as I understand, you know the statistics, 8 out of 10 trucks are owned by small fleet owners. So who is giving thought to the design aspect? That is where I believe that a lot of communities are required. Tata Motors could collaborate with the customer, that in this case is the cement company, and work on the design aspect, which could be released on the bodybuilder. There is something happening there. So what's going to happen next? And who's going to lead the process is the question we need to work on as a community.
Dr. Arvind, let's get you in this. What are the main economic risks that are being faced by the Indian cement industry? And also want to ask you, how does ESG, how does that aspect fit in terms of mitigating the risk?
So lots of economic challenges. Along with the value chain, let me tell you, it starts with, India produces around 330 million tons of cement. Almost 1.6 times of raw material is required to produce cement. And coal is one of the important ingredients. Although I have been advocating for sustainability, but still cement industry requires a coal. And most of this coal comes from the imported one. And there are challenges around because of the geopolitical situation. The coal prices are increasing. About a year back, we were buying coal at about $75 a ton. Today, it has reached to a price of about $250 dollars. So while I was discussing and Rajesh was saying, cement is in boom, double-digit growth. Yes, cement is the highest growing sector, but there is a huge pressure on the margin. That's on the supply side. Then comes my transporter friends. 33% of my variable cost is attributed to transportation of the raw material. And because of the fuel prices hiking, BS6 and all coming up, again the prices going up. And again that is hitting my bottom line. When it comes to the downstream side or the demand side, we sell cement about 6 to 7 rupees a kg. Which is even nothing, honestly speaking. Even water 1 liter we sell at about 20 rupees, whereas cement is being sold at 7 rupees a kg. Now there is a huge demand. Where is this cement going? Either it is going into infrastructure building or it is going to the individual house builders. Now both are. Government has a policy on affordable housing. Government has substantial allocation, 1.47 lakh crore in coming next 2-3 years of time. But cement goes in nation building, so obviously government is not allowing us to increase the prices. There is a huge competition also, a lot of consolidation is happening. So across the value chain, there are lots of economic challenges. The last one I would say is on the access to capital. Cement industry is growing. It's growing at a pace of 10 to 12% currently. With the 5 trillion economy, what we had thought of, it would require about 850 million tons of cement. And, to meet that, lot of access to capital will be required. And access to capital comes with a proper ESG scoring and ESG rating. Now, how is ESG helping us on this? And driving ESG within the organization is helping us down reducing the cost. Now, may it be environment related. If you reduce the CO2, it straight away reduces your energy consumption or the fuel which is required. So that adds up to your bottom line. If you have better social fabric or we have well engaged employees and well engaged community, I think that also help. And governance is, of course, it's essential for any large organization. The moment you have good governance practices, you have license to operate, you have access to capital. So ESG is definitely going to help to come over the economic crisis what we have talked about.
Okay, all right, Doctor. Well, Mr. Pradeep, I wanted to come across to you. When I started tracking the cement space, maybe around 12 years or so ago, I was wondering why in East India the price of cement is so high. Then I realized that maybe the cost also is high. And transportation out there is a large percentage of the cost, particularly for the East-based players. How are decisions being taken by the cement manufacturers out there? Because clearly the focus on reliable logistics as well as, the lowest cost is something that you'll be focusing on. Run us through some kind of a roadmap that you'll have.
To be more particular, Northeast. The cement industry started growing in the year 2004 when the first cement plant that was bought by Star Cement started operating, which was the major cement company coming up in that particular area. And more so, when the industry is cement, where the cost going in, as far as cost is concerned, 40% of the cost component is logistics, whether it is inbound and outbound logistics put together. So, in such an industry where the logistics cost is 40% and the area is really a big logistics challenge, the other costs or the cost pressure on the product itself comes up pretty large. In this course of time, while the industry was growing, we started with the first plant, and then almost 8 cement companies are working there. And the cement industry to reckon with is there in Northeast. During this process, in this journey, the biggest changes that we made was we changed the way cement was being distributed in that particular area. Earlier, the cement used to come from outside Northeast in railway rakes, and the cement used to get distributed by the last mile connectivity through the available trucks in the particular area. But we changed the entire game by making sure that the cement is being delivered to the doorstep through road logistics. Although that was supporting our purpose, because for us it was shorter lead and the railway network inside Northeast was not as good. Even at that time, it was very bad. So the connectivity was poor. So we had no choice but to go to roadways. And thus we changed the way cement was being distributed inside Northeast. And that really made us the champions out there as far as logistics is concerned. During this period of time, we actually motivated or incentivized our fleet owners who were small, very small fleet owners. We incentivized them that, okay, you go ahead, buy fleets, and we'll give you dedicated contracts, and we will assure you the business. We will give you some advance for buying the fleet. So you go buy fleet and induct it into the system. And thus the fleet induction in the entire logistics network started, and it grew over the years. And a robust supply chain could be developed within Northeast, which takes care of not only cost, but the service levels also.
Mr. Mehta, what about you? I believe you have a wish list. Give us a couple of numbers. As of today, on every truck, how many tons of cement, metric tons of cement are loaded as of now? I guess you would like to load more, point number one. And also, maybe electric vehicles are a distance away. First, they'll start with the scooters, two-wheelers, three-wheelers, or trucks are a distance away. But I believe you're betting on the LNG space, Tell us more about that. Couple of aspects on your wish list. I want to know more.
Recently, 2 years back, government has increased load by 5 metric ton, and that has saved industry from increasing the cost to great extent. Earlier, I used to carry 80 metric tons in 4018 model. So that was the capacity of a truck, and that was easily handled, and no accident, no nothing. But it was not good from a vehicle's health point of view, driver's health point of view, and all other things. Now, important thing is that when roads are very, very good, we should pursue with the government how load should increase to at least by 10-15%, 5 ton more. That is our wish list, number one.
So, Mr. Mehta, as of now, what is it? I mean, if you could give us a number as of now?
Yes, I can say one model, highest model is say 55 metric ton.
55 metric, and you're hoping for a 10 to 15% increase from there.
And we can carry 42 metric ton, mota moti.
Okay.
And then we want that it should be at least 50 metric ton.
Okay.
So that should be the vehicle. And more type of vehicles should come, which capacity should be, say if government is not increasing by 5 metric ton, then we should come out with the some few more trucks which can carry up to 50 metric ton. So our fixed cost of driver, all other expenses can be allocated on that quantity. So our logistic cost can reduce down. Say your innovation in model 40 metric ton. 30. That has increased to 54 metric ton. And because of that, lot of fuel is being saved. Driver and motor owners were telling that they are able to save 25 to 30,000 ton in a month on account of fuel. These type of things are required.
Okay. And
because diesel cost is almost 55 to 60%. So that is required from government as well as lobby of the truckers to pursue this.